My landlord tried to illegally evict me during my mom's cancer treatment, but his own doorbell camera became my secret weapon. I'd been living in my apartment for 3 years when my mom was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. I needed to become her coutures, so I set up a payment plan with my landlord Mark to cover the weeks I'd be staying at her place. He seemed understanding at first, even said his own mother had survived cancer 2 weeks into my mom's chemo. I drove back to my apartment to grab more clothes. I almost passed out when I found a formal eviction notice taped to my door, claiming I'd violated my lease by abandoning the property and failing to give proper notice before vacating. I called Mark immediately. "There must be a mistake," I said, voice shaking. "No mistake," he replied coldly. "You moved out. I have a waiting list of people willing to pay $400 more per month. Your stuff will be on the curb next Tuesday." Panic set in. I couldn't afford a lawyer, and fighting an eviction while caring for my mom seemed impossible. That night, crowing through rental laws on my phone while my mom slept in her hospital bed, I discovered that in our state, a tenant must be absent for 15 consecutive days without communication to be considered abandonment. I've been telling Mark weekly updates about my mom's condition and my return date, but it was my word against his, and he knew I was vulnerable. The next morning, I drove back to my apartment building to take photos proving I still lived there. As I approached the entrance, I noticed something I always ignored: Mark's fancy doorbell camera. He'd installed it last year and bragged about how it stored footage for 30 days to keep the building safe. I felt a surge of hope. If a camera had been working, it would have recorded me entering and leaving multiple times during the supposed abandonment period. I wrote a calm, detailed email to Mart. I believed here's been a misunderstanding about my tenancy status, as discussed in our payment plan agreement on date. I'd been temporarily caring for my mother during her cancer treatment while maintaining residence. Per State Code 47.1e, property abandonment requires 15 consecutive days of absence without communication, which hasn't occurred. Then take my power move. I am sure this can be resolved quickly by reviewing the entrance doorbell camera footage from the past 3 weeks, which will confirm my regular visits. Shire, I've documented all our text exchanges about my temporary caregiving situation. I added, I've also spoken with the Tenant Side Association, who suggested we resolve this informally before escalation becomes necessary. No response for 2 days. Then a terse email arrived. Notice rescinded. Previous payment arrangement still acceptable. 3 months later, my mom finished her last round of chemo. The day she rang the hospital bell, I returned to find my rent had been reduced by $50 with a note. My mother asked me to do better. I am sorry about yours. Sometimes the technology meant to control us becomes the very thing that saves us from those who abuse their power.